Looks like we have a problem up ahead.
We better check this one out. Central, this is 1-5, over.
1-5, this is Central, over.
Central, this is 1-5 at Delancey Road, south of Test Area 1. Investigating 2.5-ton truck broken down, blocking road, over.
Roger, 1-5, Central out.
Here you go. All right, let's do it.
Seems to be the problem.
I don't know, Sergeant. I'm trying to find out.
All right, get the package.
Come on, move it!
It's an honor to have you here, Mr. Norris, to talk to our ordnance people. I'm sure we can all learn a lot from one of the leading armament experts. Mrs. Norris, Jenny, it's a privilege to have you here as our guest.
We're very happy to be here.
I'm sure you'll find all the comforts of home inside. I'll be back at 1800 hours to pick you up for dinner. Meanwhile, relax and get some rest.
Thanks for your hospitality, General Kelly. I'm sure we'll be fine. Let's just relax and get comfortable, and then we can talk about tonight.
Oh, fine, dear.
I'll get the door.
Yes? Mr. Norris, a gift from the General.
Thank you.
Oh, what is going on?
Over! Shit!
Get away!
On the sofa! On the sofa!
So, this is Mr. Norris, the arms expert.
The terrorist act you have just witnessed is based on a hypothetical scenario. Taking hostages is only one of several threat situations terrorists may seek to create on an army post. They may plan the seizure or destruction of weapons, equipment, classified documents, vehicles, buildings, and other acts of violence for personal gain or political or propaganda motives. The Army's goal is to stop terrorist activity before it gets started. However, we must realize that skilled, determined terrorists may be able to penetrate a large facility like an Army installation, especially when they are as resourceful as this group. So we must be able to manage a terrorist-created crisis, or special threat situation, as it is also called, if and when it happens. That means neutralizing the terrorists while safeguarding both lives and property. Advanced planning and training for terrorist crisis management are imperative. A comprehensive plan for various contingencies must be developed at every Army installation. The following presentation describes a typical Army contingency plan. Any plan should include both anti-terrorism and counter-terrorism measures. Anti-terrorism or preventive measures are taken prior to a terrorist incident in the hope of deterring it. Counter-terrorism or reactive measures are taken when the incident occurs. These must be pre-planned and rehearsed. Threat analysis is a vital precaution. It includes identifying physical security deficiencies.
We got a loose hinge here.
Another preventive aspect is the acquisition, collation, and analysis of information on organizations posing a criminal threat to the installation. There should be ongoing liaison with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies for the exchange and study of intelligence information on potential threat situations.
I'd like to get a copy of this if possible.
I'll get you a copy.
Helpful information may be found in such open sources as radio, television, newspapers, books, and magazines. It pays to increase the awareness of civilians as well as military personnel to the possibility of special threat situations. They should be encouraged to report anything suspicious.
Hi, this is
It was awareness of this kind that prompted the neighbor to report and describe the suspicious activities she saw outside the guest
I
house.
saw these 4 men. They seem to be forcing their way in, and I think you should send someone over right away.
Another key preventive measure is to design and test different threat scenarios based on the characteristics of the specific installation. These scenarios may simulate terrorist use of bombs, arson, armed assault and ambush, hostage-taking and barricade incidents, assassinations, or kidnapping. A variety of training exercises can be developed. Personnel gain hands-on experience in crisis management. Performance techniques and procedures are observed and evaluated for effectiveness. Debriefings and critiques discuss errors or inadequacies in crisis management plans and steps for correcting them.
So that these problems don't arise again. Engineer, what was your main...
Shortages or deficiencies in equipment and material may be identified. This repetitive process of exercise, evaluation, and review results in crisis management procedures for various contingency situations.
Good afternoon, ladies and
A
gentlemen.
major source of input for these contingency plans is the installation's threat committee. Its role is to assist the commander in developing a comprehensive threat statement and threat analysis for the installation.
And before we begin,
Membership usually includes the following: the public affairs officer,
remind the group that if they're going to deal with
CID officer,
Captain Woods, could we have an update on the renovation of the media center?
It's coming along on schedule.
physical security, what do you have to report?
physical security officer, the Directorate of Logistics, and the Provost Marshal, among others.
Special threat plan.
The committee meets regularly to exchange information and develop plans that will make it easier to work together when a crisis situation occurs. This coordinated effort includes outside elements, such as the local police and FBI, that may become involved in a special threat situation.
Division of my department will be happy to cooperate.
This committee is usually chaired by the operations officer, who is also the deputy director for plans, training, and mobilization. The goal is a highly trained team whose elements can be activated for quick response. This schematic shows this installation's organization for a quick response capability. Plans at other Army installations may vary. To see how these assets are used, we return to the hypothetical terrorist incident. The first word of the incident comes from a neighbor across the street as she calls in her suspicions to the military police. The call is taken by the desk sergeant. He notifies the duty officer.
And there is an empty MP vehicle parked in front of the guest house.
Okay, let's dispatch a unit to the guest house. Have them perform surveillance and report back every 15 minutes. Tell them to use extreme caution and not to try to enter the guest house.
Yes, sir. Units 1-1 and 1-3, this is Central, over.
More news comes in from the MP patrol sent to locate Unit 1-5 after they failed to respond to calls from Central.
1-4, this is Central, over.
This is 1-4. We found MPs King and Ludwig bound and gagged just off Delancey Road. Spec 4 King has been badly beaten. We need an ambulance. There's no sign of the MP sedan. Over.
This is Central. Ambulance is on the way. Out. Looks bad, sir.
We'll see what the surveillance unit reports.
Yes, sir. Emergency. This is Staff Sergeant Davis, MP desk. We need an ambulance on Delancey Road, 1 mile south of Test Area 1. We have 2 possible injured MPs and we request a doctor. MP Unit 14 is there.
Central, this is 1-1, over.
1-1. This is Central, over.
This is 1-1. We confirm the empty MP sedan in front of the guest house. We found a note on the windshield, over.
1-1. This is Central. Return to station. Tell 1-3 to stay in place and continue surveillance, over.
This is 1-1, roger, over.
This is Central, out.
There is no question in the duty officer's mind that the ransom note is genuine. He loses no time in notifying the provost marshal, who immediately heads for the MP station.
Yes, sir.
The PM is coming over.
$10 million. A plane to the Middle East, safe passage to the airport, all in 8 hours.
The notification process is implemented swiftly according to standard operating procedure by the MP duty officer.
Captain Atkins, please.
The installation commander, the public affairs officer, and the FBI are immediately alerted. The Emergency Operations Center is activated, and a Threat Management Force command post is established.
How's the evacuation going?
The installation commander directs the command group. He has the authority to approve or disapprove all measures taken in the field. The FBI has input at this level, both in the matter of jurisdiction and the advisability of the reaction measures under consideration.
We will have to run it through our intelligence people.
The public affairs officer is the liaison between the command group and the media for all information to be released on the special threat situation.
Things operational, sir.
No problem.
No, sir.
The Emergency Operations Center provides the support that may be used against the terrorist group. The EOC is headed by the operations officer, who is also chairman of the Threat Committee. Key representatives include the Provost Marshal and the Public Affairs Officer. The Directorate of Engineering may be called on to supply materials ranging from blueprints to bulldozers. The Directorate of Logistics is responsible for basic needs like transportation and food, and provides special items such as photographic equipment. The Communications and Electronics Directorate handles all communications problems and provides specialists to connect or disconnect telephone lines. The Crisis Management Team advises the command group as well as the Emergency Operations Center on the reactive measures that can be used against terrorists.
Right.
The Crisis Management Team also ensures the availability of the individuals needed to manage a special threat situation. The team may function under the Installation Chief of Staff. Its members are drawn from the installation and may include representatives from the Staff Judge Advocate, the Medical Command, Engineering, Communications, Logistics, Public Affairs,
When should we get that there by?
G3 plans, and any others that may be needed based on the mission and the resources of the installation.
How long till your unit will be in position?
The Threat Management Force carries out counterterrorism measures as advised by the Emergency Operations Center. It is headed by an officer experienced in operations who acts as the on-scene commander. The Threat Management Force usually has 6 components. The Initial Response Force is the on-duty military police who are the first to respond to the terrorist incident and begin containment measures. The Inner Perimeter Force is the unit responsible for sealing off and controlling the area immediately around the scene of the incident.
Team 1's in position.
The Special Reaction Team is responsible for this mission, but their limited number may require the addition of other forces.
The lower left quadrant of the building.
The SRT is specifically trained and equipped to neutralize the special threat. Another component of the Threat Management Force is the Outer Perimeter Force. It controls the area outside the inner perimeter. This group normally will be composed of elements other than military police. The hostage negotiation team is responsible for initiating a dialogue and conducting negotiations with the terrorists. Finally, the support coordination team ensures that essential supplies are on hand. When all reactive elements have taken their positions, their disposition will usually look like this. The objective is to seal off the area of the incident and to enable the reactive elements to operate with maximum efficiency and minimum interference with each other. The Threat Management Force commander sets up his CP at a tactically advantageous position between the two perimeters. It is out of sight of the terrorists and out of range of their weapons. The Threat Management Force commander is the on-scene commander. Close to the command post are the Special Reaction Team and the support coordinator. The hostage negotiation team, however, is set apart. This separation enables the TMF commander to retain complete objectivity regardless of what transpires during the dialogue between the negotiators and terrorists. The players in terrorist crisis management have completed the initial stage of the reactive mode. Thanks to preventive measures taken in advance of the terrorist incident, all units are in place, ready for the task. They are trained, equipped, and positioned for maximum effectiveness. The next step is confrontation with the terrorists. A peaceful resolution of the special threat situation is the primary objective. If this is not possible, appropriate force will be used to neutralize the threat and free the hostages.